Do it again. Buenos días, la hora feminista.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, Friday, October 21st.
Yes, this is DJ Morena Libre.
And DJ JC.
Good morning again. I hope you're
Good
having
morning.
your coffee. And you know what? We need ours this morning. We need a lot of coffee this morning. Okay, so we have a great guest and a great show lined up for you today. And you know what? This time I can say it well. I can say it, your name, the whole thing. Ana Paola Cendejas Ornelas is here with us today. She is the president and co-founder of If So, Intersectional Feminist Student Organization. Ana, welcome to the show and to our lack of coffee this morning.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about yourself, though. Like, where you from, and I want to know you.
Oh, yes, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from here, from McAllen, actually. But my parents are Mexican, so I lived in Mexico for the first couple years of my life until I moved here for school. I'm a psych major and gender and women's studies minor. And honestly, I'm completely in love with my major. I'm obsessed with it, and I can't wait to go into grad school.
Nice.
I'm the co-founder and president this year of If So. And yeah, I'm 20 years old. So,
Aww.
yeah.
No, yes, we are really excited to have you here. I believe that a couple of, maybe last semester, did you guys set up a table at one of the student involvement fairs or something like that? Because I remember being next to you, and it was such a popular table. There were so many people just stopping by. You guys were just talking about what you do, and it's so great, honestly, what you do and what you have done. And so we want to hear about it throughout the show. So we hope that you brought your A game here to let us know about your organization and this group that you are doing so many wonderful things of. I know we were talking a little bit before the show, so we want to hear about some of those things. So thank you so much for being here. And we also have someone else that came by with you, right? So
Yes.
so we want to introduce
Andrea.
Hello, my name is Andrea Mesa. I am Ana Paola Zendejas Ornelas' girlfriend.
Aha!
That's great. That's great. Thank you both very much for being here. We really appreciate
Okay,
it.
so tell us about If So. And please start with the acronym.
Okay, so If So stands for the Intersectional Feminist Student Org, because I'm a strong believer that feminism isn't like at its full potential if it's not intersectional. We are a community-based student org, mostly based at the Edinburgh campus because we don't have any like officers that attend the Brownsville campus. But we do a lot of work on the community with Planned Parenthood, Frontera Fund, Texas Rising, Access Esperanza Clinic, Safe RGV Project. We are partnered up with them, and they help us so much. Like, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. And we do a lot of, we just help around in the community and on campus, whoever needs it. We provide a lot of education or knowledge trainings. Actually, yesterday, Sol, she is the other co-founder of If So, but now she works for Planned Parenthood Texas Votes.
Okay.
And she is kind of our, like, not manager, but she manages our work with Planned Parenthood. And she just gave If So a Reproductive Justice 101 training yesterday.
Nice.
So they provide us with trainings and information, resources, and then in return, we kind of just spread their work and support their work as well. We also do like RGV Trans Closet.
What is that? Can you tell us a little bit in detail what that is?
Yeah, it's like clothing. Clothing donation. That's what it is.
Okay.
For the RGV Trans Closet for trans people that need all the clothes along with menstrual products.
Okay.
Actually, oh my God, last year we had somebody donate like hundreds of pads to If So, and they're not even from here. They just mailed them to us so we could turn them in. And we also do, we actually just worked with Austin, Texas musicians like a month ago at Cine del Rey. So it's really exciting. And we provide repro justice, safe sex, anything that we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, y'all stay busy.
Yeah, we do.
Well, the times are busy too, right?
Yes, there is a lot of work to be done, so we do as much as we can.
How many people are part of your club or your organization here?
Last year on V-Link, we had 150 members. And this year, a lot of people did graduate alongside the two other IFSO co-founders, which I just want to name, is Keka and Sol. Keka's doing amazing work in New York right now, and Sol is working with Planned Parenthood, so hopefully I'll be able to follow in their footsteps.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, and what was your question?
How many active participants
Oh
do you
yeah,
have?
it was 150 last year, but this year we have like around 70.
Wow, that's great.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of why the organization? Was there another maybe legacy organization before?
There was a feminist org at UTRGV a couple years ago, but it kind of died down when their presidents graduated. So our advisor, Dr. Catherine Merlo-Watson, reached out to us, reached out to actually Sol, Keka, and I, and they told us that we should do this, like we should make a club for this, but she was kind of just going to be like our advisor. She can't really like do a lot of the work, so it's up to us, like whatever we want to do with the club, like we have free range. And Keka, Sol, and I automatically started planning Zoom meetings. We were super excited. We came up with the name. I came up with the name.
A ver, tell us about the name. I mean, I know, but why were you trying to think of if so? What does that mean? Like, we've been thinking about it.
No,
Like,
it was such an interesting. It was like
You wanna
man,
chime in?
That's so cool. I can't even come up with a DJ name, and you're coming up with all these. So,
Honestly, it was a complete accident that like it worked out perfectly because we were coming up with names, and I was like, okay, Feminist Student Org is kind of like in your face, like lets us know what we're doing. But in my mind, like I wanted to be very clear that it's not white women's feminism, and it is intersectional. And like as I said before, we started feminism doesn't work or doesn't reach its full potential if it's not intersectional. So we wanted to keep that in mind. And then it was just intersectional student org, but we're like, okay, that's kind of like a mouthful for everybody. And then we're like, oh my god, if so works out perfectly. And then that as if from Clueless came to our mind. So we're like, oh my god, that's kind of cute. So we just kept it.
wow.
If
Inspiration.
so.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, I kept repeating it, just thinking like if and so, like just possibilities of the name, right? It's so cool.
But actually, I hadn't thought of that until you guys brought it up.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it had not crossed my mind.
Well, we had discussions about it because we wanted to know, and so thank you for letting us know how that came about.
Of course.
It's interesting. Where inspiration hits and where it kind of fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, I'm sorry, you mentioned intersectionality, right?
Yes.
And that's one of the topics that we were talking about a couple weeks back, and delved into that. So it's so interesting that we make that connection with that and with what you're doing. So that's great.
So how are you conceptualizing intersectionality through the work that you're doing?
Well, we keep like in mind, like for example, like repro justice, right? Just because somebody, did you?
No. Just for those that don't know what that is, it's reproductive justice.
Reproductive justice. Yeah. It's just because you're like biologically a gender doesn't mean that like all of the reproductive justice things that come with it like don't apply to you, like menstruation or something like. Or we keep in mind that just because, for example, me as like lesbian Mexican woman, I don't have the same experiences as a black lesbian woman or as a white lesbian woman, so all of that changes your experiences and how much like the amount of homophobia that you face, the amount of racism that you face, discrimination, or like I don't have the same difficulties as a white gay man does. So we try to keep that in mind and know that just because somebody looks a certain way doesn't mean that like their problems are because of the way that they look. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, it's again, intersectionality is such a unique experience as well, right? I mean, we have a beautiful framework that we can
Yes.
work with, but it's really a unique, and that's what intersectionality is, right? It highlights and respects our differences within these social identities, right, and experiences. So yes, yeah. Were you gonna say something, DJ Mesa?
DJ Mesa on the mic today.
On the mic.
Nothing. It's just I just think it's really important, especially with intersectionality. Like you said, it's the unique perspective that everybody gives, and just understanding that and having a very, I guess, a pillar of light in the UTRGV as a community where people can go and express the things that they've experienced together and maybe feel some sort of connection, find some common ground together. I think it's a very beautiful thing.
Yes, I do.
Especially like with IFSO. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
With IFSO, we really try, like, we want to hear from the community or from the students, like, what they need and how we can help them, because, like, their experiences are not the same for me, like, for mine, so I probably won't be able to come up with something to help somebody, or they can be, like, more specific. So we'd love to hear from the community to see how we can help them in a way that's special to them and like cater to their experiences.
And do you get that? Are you? I mean, look, you had last semester 150 members in
Yes.
V-Link, and then this semester you have how many?
70?
We have around 70 active members, but not on V-Link because of the whole like risk management training that we had to do. So I kind of had to kick everybody off V-Link.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
Yeah,
But we do have all those members active.
you do. Okay, well, and it's a large. Are you getting? You have the participation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that tell you about the needs? What are you representing out there?
Last year, if I'm being honest with you guys, last year our participation wasn't like as much as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now the members are so excited to like work with us and they're so helpful, and they all like in our Zoom meetings like we'll go overtime because everybody just wants to like speak on their experience. Last year not as much because we were just starting out, so people didn't know what we were about, which I completely understand.
Yeah, you have to.
Especially with something like feminism, you kind of want to know what you're getting into. So this year, yeah, we have a lot of active members. But for example, one of our officers, Cindy, she works with OVAP.
Tell us what OVAC stands for. Okay, OVAP. We'll look it up, and then you tell us what she does.
It's like the center for, at UTRGV, they help you with like housing, domestic violence, just resources. I actually had, and they like, you don't even have to reach out to like them. They reach out to you to see how they can help you. So I had a call from somebody from OVAP asking me if I needed like housing, or like they knew that a situation that I was going through, like a professor told them, and they were willing to help me in any way. So like Cindy provides us with like knowledge on how we can help OVAP and UTRGV, and like she just had an event for domestic violence. OVAP just had that, so like we can help with that.
So OVAP stands for the Office for Advocacy and Violence Prevention.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's part of the Division of Academic Affairs. Very important office. Yes.
And we also have a lot of like queer members, non-binary members, just all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
Every sort of person and like everything, and I think that is beautiful because I get to hear from their experiences and learn from them and just like better me as a person, but also be like, okay, like we need to do work here. Like I can see that they're struggling, and if I can help them with that, like with something, then IFSO needs to focus on this. So yeah.
And I mean, those are strong needs that you're learning about your community, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you feel are like the university or even the larger community can do more of, right, to help specific communities, right? So if you just in, whatever you feel is needed because of your groundwork, right?
I definitely think that the university could help with more um, gender friendly resources,
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, menstrual products in the male restrooms.
Okay.
Like, that's something that we were focusing on last year, and we put menstrual products in female restrooms and a couple of male restrooms, but we wanted the university to like help us provide because we're still like only just a student org, so we can't come up with all of the resources, which is where Planned Parenthood and Safe Access Esperanza Clinic comes in play to help us with that. But also, I feel like the community needs to focus a lot right now on abortion care
Mm.
and helping the LGBT community with the trans,
Mm-hmm.
like all the issues that the governor is
Mm-hmm.
making us deal with, and how like gender reaffirming surgery, like all of those things, the community does need to focus on that because we do live in the valley where there is a lot of Hispanic members that do come from religious or like not even religious, just conservative backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of machismo, homophobia, or like prejudice in the community, but it doesn't stand out like as much. I feel like because people keep their issues more private, um, and I feel like that goes on into like the family, like familism and keeping close to your family. So you kind of want to protect your family, so the issues aren't spoken about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think abortion care is the number one priority right now.
And what does abortion care look like?
I think abortion care is just being safe. It means um, the freedom to do what you want with your own body, um, not messing with autonomy, just liberty, freedom, safety. I think that's what it applies to, but it also, like, it's not getting an abortion at like 9 months. Like, that is not,
Yeah, yeah.
no. It is just making sure everything's okay, abortion being provided in all cases,
Mm-hmm.
but also like rape, incest,
Mm-hmm.
like that's insane to me. Being able to communicate with doctors, getting the medication that you need, being comfortable, providing the mental health resources that you need.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all of that.
Yeah.
And it's not just for women. It applies for men as well because
Yeah.
it is for everybody.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing, and I think that just having more representation and having more like-minded people grow together and understand and really listen to the voices here, because I think that's one of the most important things, to really hear what the resources and the information that's not getting put out there, and helping them stay in contact with that. And I think another big thing for the community, at least, is having those pillars where you can come to and reach out. And I know I was actually speaking to a journalist from
Mm-hmm.
Washington yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he had been speaking like, why don't you just move out of Texas? Why don't you leave South Texas? And I think he didn't realize that this community is growing. We're supporting each other and we're showing love where it has been shown before, but speaking to your families and really humanizing people and their needs, I think that's one of the biggest things, because I know it's taboo to talk about abortion with your family, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe to talk about genders or pronouns, but the more you do it, the more it will just become a normality, and that's what we want. We want to feel normal and not so much as different. We want to feel as we are who we are.
Of
And
course.
I think that's really important to know who you're electing to, just because that is part of the groundwork, really understanding who's on the ballot and who's pushing for those good, morally correct things that you believe in. And that's what I think.
Morally and also structurally, right? What structural changes are they bringing about that will help not just that impacts all communities, right? Like in terms of reproductive justice, you know. Yes, abortion is a big factor in it, but it's not just abortion, right? It's also proper health for women, right? In general, right? And for trans people, right? It's like gender affirming healthcare,
Exactly.
you know, in terms of in feminist healthcare, right? I've always preferred midwives over doctors. I mean, it's just the treatment and the experience. And in Utah, where I had my children, there's a midwife program instituted within the healthcare. So my experience was so different, just in terms of that, right? And the access to a more alternative and more, again, like gender affirmative, right? And gender welcoming, and then, you know, knowing about your body, understanding and what you're going to go through, understanding the risks involved in any healthcare decision that you make. I mean, there's a high rate. Is a high rate of women dying due to reproductive
And
healthcare, right?
it's
There's
just
lack of
gonna
it.
go up right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like people are scared and they don't have the information. That's another thing.
Tell us about that.
To
Yeah.
receive all of the information that is out there. Like a lot of people don't know where you can go or who you can call or what help you can receive, what resources are out there, because the information is being censored, you know. So that's also something that we try to do in IFSO, like give everybody as much information as we can, which is something Frontera Fund is doing amazing work at, which, by the way, their helpline on abortion care is still going on, which
This is with who and
Frontera Fund.
Frontera Fund, and they have an abortion line,
Yes.
like information line.
Information help
Yeah.
line.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we can post
Just
it. Yeah.
information.
Of course. Yeah. Just to get information. That education is a big part of this, right?
Exactly. And I feel like the community needs to be more educated on it,
Mhm.
because also, like, yeah, everybody here, like, well, a lot of the majority is Hispanic, you know, so they don't have, like, for example, my dad, he was very conservative, but then me being who I am, I've just spoken to him a lot, and he's really opened his mind to it. Like, when I first came out, like, my freshman year of high school, he was kind of like, well, I don't know. He is my girlfriend's biggest fan now. He absolutely adores her. And not only that, like, with more conversations that we've had, he has the idea. He used to be very pro-life. But as we've spoken, and just as, like, time has gone by and he's seen, like, what the world has come to now, he's very much like, your body, your choice. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop you. And now I have the liberty to do with my body what I want. And I feel like this is possible just through conversation and information, knowledge, and just feeling comfortable in it. But another thing that's very important is also, like, sexual education and having those conversations with your family members. Honestly, I didn't know half of the things that I know now, like 2 years ago. I learned it all through professors like Dr. Resendiz, Catherine Merlo-Watson, just so many doctors at UTRGV have provided me with so much information. Planned Parenthood Texas Votes, Frontera Fund. I'm a huge fan of Frontera Fund. I now know so much, and, like, I mean, there's still so much I have to learn, and, like, I don't know half of the things that I, like, hope to learn one day, but I think just conversations are so important.
They are. And I was quoting Sara Ahmed on one of the first shows that we had, and, you know, in Bell Hooks, you know, they all talk about how you learn feminism through dialogue, right? It's how it happens, right? Learning about each other and learning our differences and learning our struggles within our own social identities, right? Now, we're gonna take a little break because when we come back, I really want to learn about how what you all think about feminism, right? So, you brought over songs. So, you want us to play Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
All Too Well. Okay, here we go. We are back. Oh, we were having such a wonderful conversation over here. Okay, so we ask our guest. You're our second guest, by the way. But there's a central question to the show, right? And is what does feminism mean to you?
To me, feminism is very simple. It's equal rights for everybody and support for the community. It's helping those who are being oppressed and knowing that intersectionality is very important. It's knowledge, resources, safety, and just feeling comfortable in who you are and supporting others with their struggles and just in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and adding to that, I just think that it's finding what's unjust that's done to like women and understanding what there is that we can do, how we can change it, our perspectives on it, and really having better conversations and having just more conversations on what's happening and what systematically oppressed us and how we can actively do to change that, because I think it's important for our future generations to give them a stable front on like this is maybe not the best way of handling a situation, or coming to terms with like, oh, men will just be men and women are just women. I think those stigmas should be banished and reconstructed in a way.
Dismantled. Break them apart, get rid of them, burn them. Yes. No, because then, last night we were I'm going to throw out, just because I went back to, I'm thinking of the destruction, right?
Yes.
Of these systems. But my partner was watching Halloween, the new one that just came out.
We just watched it. It's so
I
good.
know at the end, right? No spoilers, but whatever. If you already watched it, if you haven't watched it, too bad.
I haven't.
No. It's like the destruction of a violent system. It was wonderful to watch.
Honestly, now that you say that,
Yes.
just imagining it.
White supremacy, male supremacy. You know what I mean?
ripping
Patriarchy.
apart.
Yes. Oh,
All
that
right.
was great. Yeah. And actually, I just thought about the connection with what y'all are talking
The
about.
whole community came for it.
Yes.
Came together for it.
Yes.
no,
Oh,
I
no,
have to
you have
watch
to
it.
watch it. You have to
now.
watch it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the recommendation.
But it was like a very feminist ending.
It
It
really
was.
was. And there was a final resolution and understanding that everyone was at peace and understanding that those old ideas and stuff kind of are at rest forever.
Old and violent.
Old, violent, disgusting, gruesome, you name it, it
Yes.
was.
Oh, Halloween Ends being the new feminist movie for 2022.
And like the destruction of all traces of it too, right? Like boom, like the material trace, everything. Oh, you need to watch
So
it.
do you have to have watched everything
No.
else? Okay, it'll.
No.
I mean, I know the basic premise of the movie.
Of Halloween?
Yeah, of Halloween, the movie.
Well,
but,
and the ongoing
Yes.
like attack towards women, right?
Yes,
Like it's
yes.
like from a white male, right, who is a monster.
Yes.
Right? Terrorizing, yeah. And then, to come at the end. It's just you have to watch
Okay,
it,
we'll have
Joel.
to
You
watch
have
it.
to.
Okay, now you've got me peaked.
Go ahead.
No, so I was going to ask you, if someone graduates from UTRGV and they still want to participate, are they allowed to be part of the organization?
Yeah, 100%. Right now we have members that go to other universities or
Oh, okay.
aren't part of any university. You can always be part of it. Hopefully when I graduate, I can still be part of it. Anybody and everybody is welcome.
That's awesome. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. You're doing great work. And so what other groups do you work with throughout the Valley?
We do work with Planned Parenthood Texas Votes, Frontera Fund, South Texas Repro Justice, and RGV Safe Project, which I've mentioned them throughout the show. But they're the main ones that we work with, and they help us so much. We plan protests with them, just other events, and mostly a lot of it is just them reaching out to me and letting me know that they're having this event, so then I can spread the word to IFSO, and then like we do that. Or if I have an idea of an event, or IFSO wants to do something, I reach out to them and we're like, okay, this is what we want to do, how can we do it? And then they provide us with all the resources for that.
That's awesome. And when are you graduating, or what's your what I guess grade
When's
level
the
are you
date?
in? Yeah.
When are we gonna go celebrate?
So hopefully, if everything goes right, if I don't jinx it, I will be graduating December 16th.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
that's exciting, very nerve-wracking. I have to walk in front of everybody. That is just not for me.
Oh,
Oh,
Idio.
but no, it's gonna be great.
You own it. You can own it. Yeah, trust me. Once you get to it, it's
It'll be something.
yeah.
No, but honestly, I'm excited because you know those like Hispanic heritage, what is it, stole?
So-
The stoles,
yes.
yes.
Okay.
Los zarapes.
Yes, I get to wear one, and that is so exciting. It makes me so proud. Like,
Oh.
and I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of people that didn't believe that I could make like a living or like really do anything with the women and gender studies like minor, or like psychology major. With the psychology major, yes, but more in the like doctor, like clinician side of it, not in the community based. So I get to prove them wrong. Like, this is what I've done, and like I did it on my own, and that like I'm just excited for that.
Que bueno, that's awesome.
And it looks like there's already like this beautiful path being paved, right, by your colleagues, right, the ones that helped you found this, and like it's just y'all are doing some wonderful
like
work.
Everybody that has been part
once
of this
you're
is just
leaving.
so amazing.
Yeah.
I do want to follow in Sol and Keka's footsteps because they're doing amazing work.
Okay.
Like for the government, for the community,
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing.
And it's never ending.
It's
right.
not. There's always going to be work to be done.
And then what do you while we were in break or during the music break, you mentioned something about your concerns about what's going to happen once you leave
Yes.
or once you graduate. I want to emphasize graduation.
Yes, graduation, because
It's a major accomplishment.
honestly, Sol and Keka graduated already. Keka's in New York City, so she's like, they're unavailable. Sol is working for Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. They're doing amazing work, and they're still involved with IFSO, but more on the Planned Parenthood side. I will be graduating. Hopefully, I can get a job with Planned Parenthood or Frontera Fund, or literally, it'd be amazing to work with any of them.
Hire her
Please. But
now.
our vice president will be graduating in May. So I'm a little bit worried that like the previous feminist org at UTRGV, it'll kind of die down, or work won't be done or as much as it is being done now, because I feel like we've seen how much work we can do even more, you know? So I'm kind of worried about that, which is also why we don't have like a Brownsville one. I think last year we did have one or two students from Brownsville that were part of IFSO, but and our meetings are remote, so Brownsville members can join. They're all over Zoom.
Yeah.
But like for events or tablings or protests, almost all of them have been in Edinburgh, because we aren't able to drive over here. But if anybody wants to start like they're part of IFSO here at Brownsville, we are open to it. Honestly, as long as they stay in communication with the Brownsville, they would be under like our supervision, because I feel like you have to be careful with what you do, and I don't want IFSO to get canceled. We've come so far with it, and we've done great work. I don't want that work to kind of be like destroyed in any way, so it would be under our supervision. But if anybody from Brownsville would want to join IFSO or do tablings here, I will provide them with all of the resources, all of the necessities for that.
What do you think is one of the biggest obstacles of this type of work?
I feel like maybe not being educated in like everything, because obviously like I don't know everything, but I try to learn like at least a little bit from every perspective so I know how to handle situations. But for example, I wouldn't want if so to just be focused on like LGBT rights. I want if so to be something like bigger, like everything and everybody is welcome. We will help everybody. So that, and I'm also a little bit worried that we have had issues with safety last year.
What does
We-
that mean? Tell me.
We did have somebody who was, honestly, I don't know if it counts as sexual harassment, but in the UTRGV, well, in the If So group chat, they were commenting about inappropriate things when somebody was talking about their sexual assault, and they were talking about what they like to do in their free time, but just not okay. So people were very uncomfortable, and then we decided to remove that person from If So because everybody was very uncomfortable. I think they made one or two racist remarks, and we were like, no, this can't be happening. And then they proceeded to call us TERFs and threaten us with Molotov. So I had to do this whole report at UTRGV. They had to speak to this person, and like this person still approaches us at tablings and stuff. And obviously you will piss off people doing this work. So you have to be safe, you have to be careful, and like I just don't want anybody to either get in trouble because you probably will, or like be unsafe or get threatened with Molotov.
So then you've had to educate yourselves on university policies,
Oh yes.
on security policies, procedures, all of that,
We
right?
had to change our what's it called? A club.
The status or
Yeah, like our rules. And
your rules
stuff.
and regulations,
Yes.
your
Amendment. Is it?
Yeah, your yes.
Yes, you
There's
know.
another word.
Constitution.
Constitution.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you, DJ Mesa.
Entre todos.
Literally, nobody could figure it out. We had to change it and say that we could decide to remove somebody from the organization for our safety, but it would be discussed, and that all the officers had to agree with this. It can't just like me decide like, okay, you're out. Like everybody has to decide that it's just for the better of for everybody in the club to just not be part of it. We had to do that. We've had to know and understand that we can ask for security. That is our right. We can ask for security and to keep our members safe. And obviously with all of the abortion work that we are doing at UTRGV or like in McAllen, there has this random number that has been calling all of If So asking about like abortions and stuff, but I think they're called TPCs.
Okay, yeah.
Fake abortion clinics.
Yeah.
By the way, they're just terrible. So we're gathering a list of all those abortion centers to put it out to the public. But know that you do have to be careful. Some of the people that I know are being doxxed right now. Their safety is like compromised. So you do have to be extremely careful. Obviously, I was talking about this before the live show started, but somebody threatened a professor at UTRGV, and they signed it with like my description as Goth Girl, which is now my DJ name.
It is your DJ name.
It is
yes.
my DJ name.
Yes. Okay.
So you just have to like be careful, and that's what I'm worried about mostly, to have like having it in Brownsville, because I can't like be like immediately reach out to them.
Well, and that would require just education, training, right? And that's how you grow, right? And you begin to establish some ground rules, and yeah. So we need more presence in Bronzeville. I agree.
And we will work on that.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that that you're going through this when you have such an important message. But do you feel like is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What do you think?
I think it's definitely getting worse just because of like elections are coming up. Everybody is being more outspoken on their beliefs, or they're just angrier and more scared. So it has been getting worse. But because we had smaller instances happen to us the year like before, now we're ready and prepared. And If So is now more connected to the community and to other organizations like Frontera Finland and Planned Parenthood. So if I ever have like a question about anything or my safety, I just reach out to them, and they give me all the information that I need or advice.
So there's a strong web
Yeah.
of support.
Yeah. Well, the hate has been getting worse. We also have more support, so it kind of
Yeah.
makes
yeah.
us feel better.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go.
Oh, I just think that they're always going to coexist, but with a pushback, you just have to understand that you're doing something for a bigger cause. And the bigger it gets, the bigger that if so gets, the bigger that your ideas get, your dreams, anything. I mean, there's definitely going to be more pushback, but that never should deter you from doing or being active in the community. I think that understanding that you're helping future generations by setting this milestone, setting the standard, it's going to make it easier for your children, your grandchildren, and all that good stuff, so that when the work's never going to be done, but when the work that you've been able to do is done, you can feel fulfilled.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point earlier that I wanted to come back to, and it's this, why don't you leave your community, right? It's such an easy idea or concept when you don't grow up here. It's your home,
Yeah.
right? So what does that mean to you? Like you're doing the work from your homegrown activist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think that, I don't attend UTRGV, and
By the way.
but I was given the opportunity to help, and I was able to see what can be done, and understanding that it would be easier to leave, but the roots that you've created here, the relationships, some of them can't go, and why would you leave somebody in need in that nature? I mean, if yes, maybe opportunities, but there's change to be done here. There's work, and I think that, at least for myself, I am determined to help my people here, because I can see, at least from my experience, that it's needed, that, talking to your families is definitely needed. And the more I talk to people, y'all, the journalists I had spoken to, anybody really, it's given me this sense of not urgency, but kind of stability, that there is change happening here, and maybe in a few years there wouldn't be a need to leave. And I want to be part of the reason.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. We were having that conversation yesterday, Sylvie, you and I, about the mentality of why don't you just step away? Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just walk away from the situation? And so kind of ties into our conversations.
Especially here in the Valley, I feel like a lot of youth has this idea, which I'm not gonna lie, I had this idea when I was younger. Like, if you stay here for too long, you'll be stuck here.
Oh, that's been going on forever. Even when I
Yeah.
was your age, that was a narrative I was being told.
Yeah, and everybody they want to leave as soon as they can. And honestly, before, I wanted to leave as soon as I can as well. But now that I have the opportunity to leave, and I could leave at any moment, or go to grad school somewhere else, I'm like, okay, yes, I would love to go to grad school somewhere else, but I'm doing so much here. There is so much going on. This is where my help is needed. So now I want to stay and help and do as much as I can for the community, because it's needed. So I feel like my perspective has changed a lot in that sense.
There's just so much I want to ask you all. You're bringing in multi-generational knowledge, right? You're already thinking about future generations, and you're only 20 some, right? You're 20 somethings right now. So I really appreciate that. As a mother, I really appreciate you thinking multi-generational, right? And I want to play one more song before we break, right? Because you brought this song, and because it's called We Fell in Love in October by Girl Lynn Red.
Wait,
Yeah.
actually, before you put that, I literally can't not say that, not say this. This
Yes,
song was the first song that played in my car when I got on after my first day with her, but it was also October.
Oh,
It was
there we
just
go.
amazing.
So we are in October, and we should all be in love. Okay, I'm going to start it. Okay, we're back. Oh, okay, we're going to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I want to ask a few more questions. So where do you get this drive for this type of work, right, for your feminist work?
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was raised in a very conservative household and in the Catholic Church, and I was also part of this church group. And unfortunately, when I was 10 and 11 years old, they took us to stand outside an abortion center with rosaries praying for people getting abortion or going to the abortion clinic. You don't know what for, but you just assume they're getting an abortion.
And this is your family, with your family?
Yeah, like with my church group, they took me
Your
there.
church group, okay.
And I genuinely thought that like abortion was this horrible thing, but it's because I had no information about it. Like it was just
the lack of
terrible.
education again,
exactly. Right? So I educated myself more, and then I started struggling with my sexuality and mental health issues. And teachers at my school would treat me horribly. I had this one professor laugh in my face, and because I was having a panic attack, the worst panic attack I've had today, and she laughed to my face. And now she practically talks about me just badly, right? And I was being so mistreated because of that and my sexuality, and I was like, no, this isn't how it should be. So then I started just reading, informing myself, seeing other perspectives, and like understanding that is not how it's supposed to be, and it shouldn't be that way. And then I just honestly started getting angrier and angrier, and then decided to do something about it.
The rage, right?
Yes.
The righteous. I have a professor tell me once, it's righteous rage, right? Because it's coming from a very, very oppressive location, right, in ourselves. Go ahead, Andrea. DJ Mesa.
DJ Mesa back on the mic. One of the things, it's going to respond or kind of correlate to yours. Same thing. I was raised in this church setting, and once I was struggling with my sexuality, they would come up to me and basically diminish the idea, tell me that it was bad. Then I struggled with mental health because of it, and I saw just different problematic views that were stemming from the church at the time, and that's where I decided to inform myself, really. And the more I informed myself, the more I saw these women, they're making change. And that gave me this enormous amount of hope for the future generations. And it sparked this light in me that I hope will never finish, and just helping people and really understanding them and talking to them. So I hope for the best change for the good, so that people don't have to worry about it, don't have to experience that, or even just know that they're allowed to feel a certain way and have these feelings, or think outside of the box, and there's a welcoming pillar of light in a community such as IFSO, or just y'all on this podcast really making a difference.
And you just touched up on what we were talking about, these feminist futures. Tell us, how do you see, what's your feminist future? Put yourself there already. It's happening.
Okay, ideally, a dream world would be genuine peace and happiness. Just people being able to live their true identities with no judgment, no fear for their safety, no hatred. Just women being safe, trans folk being able to get the gender reaffirming surgery that they need to be their true selves. No disrespect, just safety and peace. That is literally what I'm doing this for.
Andrea?
I mean, going back to that, I envision somewhere where we've destroyed, demolished all of this nasty system that we've created in the past, and having just a nice home, and having a stable healthcare system that women can actually benefit from, having our rights, all of our rights together, and living in a state of equity, because I think that is very important.
And we need a garden. Come on, y'all, we need a garden. A beach. So we need to learn how to garden around a beach.
The best of both. The best of both.
This was such a wonderful conversation.
It really, really was. You were welcome anytime, honestly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. Like, I'm terrible at public speaking, and I feel so comfortable just talking to you guys about this. It was amazing.
We're doing good, women. We're doing good.
Really, really good. Okay, let me write that one down. Week 5, and we're doing really good.
You've gave us so much to think about.
Honestly, yes.
You did.
It was such a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
We were
I'm so proud
commenting
of
during the music break that it went by so quickly. It went by, and believe me, no, we would never have picked up on any, nerves or anything about public speaking. You did a wonderful job. No, seriously.
You did.
It's really good. I do want to mention something really quick, announcement of an exhibit that's going on at the library at the Edinburgh campus. until November 18th, it's My Heritage, My Mental Health. It's through the School of Social Work. So if you have a chance, please go by and check it out.
Yeah. So I didn't know Mental Health Day came under the same like Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes, it falls
so
into the same.
these professors put an exhibit together along with students to to kind of talk about mental health and within the Latino community, Latina community. Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, again, thank you,
yes,
DJ Mesa and DJ Goth Girl.
Yes,
You're welcome to
all
come
right.
back
Again,
anytime you want.
Anytime. Honestly, we really enjoyed the
so
conversation, and like was mentioned, it was a learning opportunity for us and for our listeners. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
So now, everyone, have a great weekend
Yes.
and enjoy the beautiful sun and the beautiful weather. Goodbye.